In this episode, I will be changing over from toggle switch to touchscreen. Stick around. Hi, and welcome to a new episode. A while back, I decided to complicate my life and set this up. Instead of just having one programming track like everybody else, I wanted to do something different. Let me explain. This switch here chooses the input or the controller, which is the ESU controller back here, or DCC-EX Arduino back here. You can't see it. Anyway, this is select what is going to control the CVs. This one then chooses where the decoder is going to be, whether it's going to be on the programming card, you can see part of it here, or a programming track, because I have two. So if I put it up here, that's it, I'm done. So I'm using DCC-EX to control a decoder, to program a decoder on my programming card, or through an ESU programmer on the same output here. Let's go with DCC-EX. So now I'm going to choose a programming track. Which one? Programming track 1 is the default one up here. It's just a drop track like everybody else has. It's in an area where it's not on the main layout, but it's accessible very easily. Or I can choose programming track 2, which is a block on the layout. Where when I choose this switch here, this selects whether that particular block, which is also out of camera, I can select here whether the Z21 is powering that block track, or switch 1 source, which is this. That's my way of explaining it, if it makes sense to you. So when it's up here, that bit of track on the layout, that block, is powered by my choice here. And always this has to be down for programming track, and this for programming track 2, which is at the back. Otherwise, once this is down, irrelevant to what you have here on that particular bit of track, it's business as usual. Trains running around and what have you. This is where I switch my PC on from, and this is the little light I have just over the keyboard, because when I switch the lights off here and I turn on the lights on the buildings and what have you, it gets very dark, and sometimes I need to use the keyboard and I can't see much. So I have a little light to shine out to light up the keyboard without flooding the layout with external light, so to speak. So that is why I had made that, like I said, to complicate my life. But since then, I found something new to complicate my life with. Let me change the camera position and I'll show you. This is my 5-volt monitoring system. It monitors, obviously, the voltage and the load there is on the whole bus bar. It has preset overload traps and high and low voltage control. When the voltage goes too high or too low, and the amps, the load is too high, there is a preset level as well. There is a relay which obviously trips and cuts power to the accessories. So this is all controlled by a cheap yellow display, CYD, available on AliExpress, and they are cheap. They're under €20. I think I got this one for 18 something. Anyway, it's an ESP32 with a 2.8-inch color touchscreen. I already soldered or I got this soldered, the power input, because I'm finding it very difficult to find the correct JST. Let me see if I can focus this. Wait a minute. There you are. I'm finding it very difficult to find the correct JST plugs for it. So anyway, I had this soldered directly. I used my JST plugs available, and that's how I will power it. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to simulate all those switches and buttons and what have you onto my second screen, which I will place on the other side of the keyboard, and be able to control all that without any any physical toggle switches. It will be touch buttons, and yeah, that's it. And there's going to be 10 relays to operate all this. So let me get started, and I'll show you what I'm doing. Until then, the very first thing I'm going to need to do is remove this. And to remove this, obviously, I have to disconnect all these wires. I will need to remove this, and I will need to print a mounting bracket or a shelf to place this. That's the ESU programmer. I will need to move it because I need that space for the relays to keep everything concentrated in the same areas, to use shorter wires. The wiring for all these switches obviously is already here, so I'd like to keep all the relays here to make it a bit simpler. It's complicated enough as it is. So anyway, let me start taking that apart, clearing all that, and I'll get back to you. Okay, before I go any further, I want to show you what I've done. I've removed the ESU programmer from here, put the shelf in, secured it, and put the ESU programmer up here. Secured the cable, and installed the relays where the programmer was. Obviously, I have removed the panel, and the wiring and the switches are still connected. So the next step is going to be disconnecting everything here and connecting them to the relays. Then I will wire the relays onto an MCP23017. That is an expansion board for the ESP32 to handle the extra pins. Normally an ESP32 has enough pins to do this job, but this CYD, this cheap yellow display, output pins are very limited on it. In fact, let me show you. They all depend on these plugs and sockets here, which, like I said before, is I'm having difficulty finding them. So for me, since it comes with a wired plug for I2C, I just use that, connect an expansion board for €3 or €4, and I have an additional 16 pins. I mean, I can have, I believe, up to 5 of those. So, I mean, I'm okay for pins. So, I'm going to clean all this up, start wiring that, arrange a proper feed for the power supply for this. I want to make this permanent because it's always been temporarily plugged in on extensions when I on a need to use bases only. I want to make it permanent. And I'll show you progress then. So until then. Okay, this is what I've done so far. As you can see, I've had the relays installed. I wired them. Hang on a minute. That shouldn't be up there. Nah, that's better. Anyway, I've wired them all. They are wired exactly the way they were on the panel up front here. I will put a piece of 3D print a triangle here. I want to cover up this mess here and put this LED up front here. This is to indicate the PC is on. I don't really need it, but because I'm simulating this LED on the display. But just for the fun of it, I have another LED light up here. And with that triangle, I'll cover up a bit of this mess here. So this is all wired up. It's powered, but I still have to, hang on a minute. Obviously, this is programmed ready. The software is ready for this. I can mount it in there. I need to power it. So at the moment, there's no power for it here. But that's very easy. Okay, that's my friend messaging me. Then I need to pass 4 wires, which is this here. This is I2C. From the back of this, I need to lengthen those wires all the way back here on these pins, because this is the expansion board I mentioned earlier, and these pins will go to the relevant relays to do the task they have been assigned to. So next will be wiring all that up, and I think the next time you will see this, it will be done. So until then. Okay, I'm done. Everything's working as it should. And the only thing I have left, which I cannot do at the moment, I'm out of filament, is this little piece here that I wanted to cover lots of this wiring with. And while I was working, I had another idea. This shelf here, I want to print another one similar. I want to cover this, mainly not so it's out of sight. It's more about protecting it, because I don't like covering stuff like that. As you can see here, it's all power supplies and what have you. I like it, but I'm going to cover it to protect it, and at the same time I might put something on it as well. Who knows? And that may be a future project. Anyway, the color here I can see on my phone, that's not the right color that you're seeing. It's much nicer in reality, at least in my opinion. I'll take a picture and I'll post it. You're supposed to be seeing the picture now. That is what I see. Anyway, let me run you through it quickly. You have to take my word for it, because I can't show you it working exactly. At the moment, all the relays are off. If I choose, the default for me is, you can tell from the color code, the darker color is the default. So when I switch it on, this is what I see. DCC-EX, it's Arduino on first preference. I want to use the programming track on programming track 2. But the default for programming track 2 is the Z21. That's how I like it. If I wanted to change a setting on an engine that is on that particular block, I'll just press that, and now DCC-EX is controlling that bit of track. You may have noticed an LED lighting up in the back there. That's the relay kicking in. So I'm going to switch it back to the Z21. I can change to the ESU, or maybe use the programming card here, or maybe I want to use track 1 instead, which I will have to go back here. Okay, now I'm going to switch the room lights off, and I'm going to turn away the filming lights. Note the keyboard here. I'll switch my little lamp on. Not much to see, but that's working as well. At the moment, my PC is off, so you notice an LED here coming on. That's the LED from the PC. So that's it. And by the way, this button now doesn't do much because the PC is already on. It's like your power button on your PC. Anyway, that's it for now. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I enjoy replying to your questions. Have a nice day. Until the next one.